So let's kind of switch gears here. Because I don't know if you have a hard stop. Do you have a hard stop for an hour? All right, we
No?
can maybe split this up into two episodes or something. Um, I would like to talk about what is it like investing in Dubai? I think it's so important for us here in the States to understand other cultures and other environments. It's so easy to get focused on your own bubble. So I would just love to know, what is it like there from a finance perspective and doing the corporate banking there.
So it's very formal here. Um, you do have a lot of retail investors, but they are very few and far between. Okay, so finance is because, as I said, most of the people are expats here, right? So we're not citizens. We're here to work, and that's about it. So it's life is centered around work a lot. So when you talk about finance as well, most of the finance is very formal. So even with people investing, I think their investments are split between two. So maybe they invest a little bit over here, but mostly they invest in their own home country, right? Nowadays, I think for the last few years, people have started to invest in the US or the UK market. It's not been, I mean, it's been there for maybe, it's been there for a long time, but very, very, sporadic. It's not, you won't see it among the general population.
Mhm.
But I think this bull market pulled a lot of people in. I think with social media and with just in general, the financial headlines dominate now, right?
Mhm.
So what the Fed is doing and all of these things. So suddenly people realize that, oh, and you have these apps where you can invest so easily, and
Yeah.
it's you can sign up. I mean, previously we had just a handful of ways to actually invest, and you'd have to go through banks or you'd have to go through institutions to do that. And in order to sign up with those banks and institutions, you'd have to have a certain amount of money. People who don't understand the stock market don't want to put like 10, 20, $30,000 down. Even that's a lot of money for many people, right? I mean,
Sure.
as I said, most of the people here, the expat population, they're the working population. Some are very rich, but still, it's just they'd rather invest in hard assets, or they'd rather invest in things they know, which is perfectly fine. Um, and they'd give their money to proper financial advisors. So you'd see the rich or the uber rich put their money with UBS or the likes of that, like wealth management
Mhm.
firms, right? So I think there was, I'd say there's a big gap between bringing in retail investors and institutional investors. Institutional investing has always been there and been there at really great levels, but for the retail investors, not so much. Now we have companies who are starting up their own platforms as well. So we have platforms that are like from the Middle East, um, built by kids here. And I say kids because they are kids to me. They're 25, 30. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that they're doing. And technologies help them with that, right? So with technology, you can do so many things now. It's so easy. So yeah, I think more and more we're becoming a financial hub. Uh, we have our own international courts. We have all of that. So the infrastructure was there for a while, but I think it's opening up to the world now.
I mean, a
And
lot of places, a lot of businesses want a market in India. They want to definitely have. I mean, there's so much population and so much emerging tech and growth, and there's a lot that can be captured up from a market share perspective. Um, and the mobile adoption, I believe, statistically has grown astronomically. Um, what could you say about just in the Middle East, like that definitely is an emerging theme of more technology growing, and it's becoming democratized everywhere. Like you said, like financially, um, it, I'm sure some young kids probably think it's almost like it's like a game, you know. Like
Yes.
I've heard some bad stories with Robinhood and Webull and this is real money. Like there's options are real. There's penalties and things that you have to pay and things of that sort if you're losing on that end of it. But um, it has become more. I don't think the word. It's more acceptable for anyone to just start investing. And I know people on Twitter who are in their teens investing and doing really well. And it blows my mind because I'm like, you don't know how lucky you are in the time that you're at to be able to already start doing this. I was not exposed to individual investing until I was 34 years old, you know?
No, absolutely. And I think, look, there is a certain amount of learning that comes from doing, right? So these guys, by investing themselves, by dealing with money themselves, winning, losing, if you'd like, they are learning something. And in 5 years, they learn to think a little bit more strategically. They'll learn to understand how the global markets affect each other, how the Fed decisions affect each other. Right now, they're looking at it. Oh, okay, so if I buy this and it goes up like by 30-40%, I make a good profit. They start with that concept, right? But I think gradually they will start to put more work into it. I know a lot of people who are right on FinTwit. Like you see the evolution of people or of these kids. Let me say again. So it's nice. I think it's amazing, and you see a lot of that coming into the Middle East here as well. But what's also very interesting is I've had a lot of people tell me, because I write this Substack, right?
Oh yeah.
So I post the Substack to LinkedIn as well, because my LinkedIn network obviously is pretty large with bankers and financial people. So you'll be surprised how many people who work in finance have come to me and said, "Are you managing money?" I said, "What? Will you take my money?" Sure, I'll take your money. What for?
Yeah, right.
No, I see you're investing and you're writing these things. So are you managing money? Oh no, I don't manage money, but oh, because I want to invest, but I don't know how. And these are people who know how to read a balance sheet inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And they know, they've been in finance for 20 years, 25 years, entrepreneurs and bankers even,
Mm-hmm.
even bankers. And they're asking me, will you manage money? Um, I know why they're doing that. A, they don't have the time to study the market.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So that this is why I keep writing my newsletter, because it gives a nice little summary of what's going on in the market. There are people who don't have the time to follow the markets like we do every day.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little summary for them. And then the second reason is um, they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared, because at the end of the day, this is their hard-earned money. This is the money they want to retire on. But then at the same time, they don't want to put it with wealth managers. I'll tell you, when I started working, or when I put together my retirement fund, I put it in one of those insurance companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, like, over 10 years, my money went nowhere. And with all the charges and everything, it was like I just got back what I put in. So 10 years, nothing,
Mm-hmm.
nothing happened to my money in 10 years. Uh, Even if I'd put it in one stock,
Yeah.
in 10 years, my money would have been like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very sad. And people don't realize this at all.
I mean,